What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take NFL Thursday Night Showdown Breakdown. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. Give me a follow. Hit me up on Twitter. Let's talk about some sports. Talk about some DFS. Talk about anything. But hit me up. I'm also from the Wise Take Nation, which you can find on Twitter at Wise_Take. Highly recommend you follow them. Get up to date with all the Wise Take Nation latest promo codes, everything. And of course, you could visit us at wisetake.com. This is actually take two of this video. I did the first one. One of our subscribers had pointed out to me that there's like extreme wins that I completely forgot to mention. I knew that going in and just kind of slipped my mind when I was doing the video. So decided to just redo it to keep it as accurate as possible. So gonna go over the same stuff I went over in the first. Hopefully not too many of you saw that one. I'm not repeating myself. Either way, we'll start with this. The Patriots have the number one defense in terms of DVOA from Football Outsiders. Third against the run, second against the pass. Very, very good. Albeit their schedule has been very, very weak. They really haven't seen anyone that has been able to test them except for the Bills. And the Bills are not really known for their offense, more known for their defense. The Giants are 23rd overall in DVOA, 12th against the run, which isn't that bad. 29th against the pass, clearly a vulnerability of theirs. And that's interesting for this game. The Patriots are 17-point home favorites right now over the Giants, 17 points because Ingram, Saquon Barkley, Gallman, and Shepard are all out for the Giants. The main variable here is that we've got rain likely and sustained winds close to 20 miles an hour with gusts over 30. So it's just a really nasty day in New England. So there's a couple different ways you can approach this. Number one, you can kind of ignore it. We've seen situations. I think Denver had a game with 40 mile an hour winds, and Flacco kind of threw the ball everywhere. It wasn't really a big deal. Now, these winds do affect differently depending on where you are in the country, depending on where you, how your stadium is built, all that kind of stuff. So there's a couple ways to approach. And we're going to go through those builds. We're just going to go over two builds where the Patriots kind of dominate and say cover that spread, or at least just lead the game comfortably. If you're doing a build without the win, I think Tom Brady makes a lot of sense in the flex. In the captain, he spreads the ball around a lot. So rather than try to pick who you think is going to be the target, you can just play Brady. And normally I like to play a receiver or running back in this deal because it's Tom Brady. I'm totally with it because he spreads the ball out when he's doing well. So I can see him throwing a touchdown pass to 4 or 5 different receivers. I went over this build in the first take, but you can do a Brady, Edelman, Gordon. If you really want to get nasty, you can do this. I do think that either way, the defense for the Patriots is going to be popular and for good reason. They're 6,200, maybe a little overpriced for a showdown, but this is the standard forget about the wind type of deal. Rex Burkhead was someone that if he plays, he's questionable with the foot. He missed the last game. But he's kind of interesting if he does play at 3,400. He gets a little bit of pass game, gets a little bit of the run game. If there's an injury, he gets even more. More important, though, he's 3,400, and that just does a lot for us. We're left with 3,300 at this point for this build. We can either take the backup running back for the Giants, Elijah Penny, who'll be backing up Hilliman, which I think it'll be a little more split in terms of the carries. Or you can go with the Giants kicker, hope that they get down there and just can't get it in, and this kid ends up kicking you a few field goals. A couple different ways, obviously, you can go. There's also mega value here with the backup tight end, Rhett Ellison. We can take a chance on who's 200. That, of course, will allow you to get up to some of these guys. This particular example kind of leaves you in no man's land unless you wanted to take a Slayton or a Hilliman, a better running back from the Giants, a receiver from the Giants. Of course, if you didn't want to go so heavy on this particular type of build, you could come down. I'm just going to use Josh Gordon as an example. I think the main Giant, if I was going to play a Giant, a main guy, it'd be Golden Tate, right? 6 targets in his last game, but didn't equate to a ton, but this time there's nobody else to throw to, right? Tate's the only real starter left, I think, on this team. So I do think Tate would make sense in that particular build. Another way you can go, of course, is the run game. So say the win does affect the situation, we take Sonny Michel, put him in there, we take the Patriots defense, pair him. It's still probably fine to take one of these guys. I think I'd be more likely to take Edelman coming out of the slot, assuming he plays, rather than Gordon, who plays outside, if we're playing the win factor here. Coming down from there, we've got we got Michelle, we got the Patriots team, we got a little Edelman action, and you can see going this route, you have a lot more money to work with. If you wanted to get Brady in there, you probably still could, especially if you're willing to take a kicker or willing to take one of those giant tight ends or whatever the case may be. As you can see with this particular example, it's not like terrible. You got Sonny Michel on the Patriots defense, hoping to get some correlation. You got a little Brady Edelman, which is more of a raw points thing. If I'm playing Brady, and that's why Brady's not in the hot spot in this build, because I'm more playing him just hoping that raw points wise, he's just like the next best scorer outside of Michel and some of these other guys. But you can see here, this build really wasn't that bad. And this is with Rojas. If you don't want to take the kicker because of the wind, you can easily pivot this to Penny. Or, of course, like we said before, you can go with one of those tight ends, Ellison, and try to upgrade. You got a lot of money to play with here. You can obviously go up to Josh Gordon or any one of those options. But yeah, a couple of different ways to play it today. One thing I always say to people is when you're building these things, a lot of people build 150 teams using projections and optimizers, and that's fine. Like optimizers and all that will run off of point per dollar value and all those kind of things. You can tweak projections. If you're building it by hand, though, I think going into the lineup, you want to have an idea of a game script. It doesn't all have to follow the same code. I mean, we could have done a build with Brady in the hot spot and done like, James White is one of his passing targets, even though James White is probably better suited for a more competitive game. If there are a lot of wins, matter of fact, that's probably a build that we should have probably broken down. Just because the Patriots have pretty much dominated every game, and yet James White is still getting work. He's not getting carries, but the targets are still there. 9 and 10 his last 2 games, and if it's windy, maybe he's more likely to throw to his slot and his running back. I'd still take the Patriots defense. It just seems like, why wouldn't we? Let's go with the punt for Ellison, 8,700. Enough for Daniel Jones. Not crazy about that, so we don't necessarily need all that money with this build. Let's see. We could take the Patriots kicker. I mean, it's windy, so I'd rather not take too many kickers. But hypothetically, say we go with Nugent. What about this cat right here? Taking Dorsett's place, maybe? He's not doing a ton. Jacoby Myers. Say we went kicker status. 58, you got Hilliman. Little better, not great. I don't love that either. But you get my drift. This is like the Brady, Edelman, White stack can also be a way to get exposure to the pass game. And kind of overcome some of those win situations, because those passes are typically going to be a little closer, not as far down the field, a little easier to make in the wind. But yeah, so a couple of different ways you can go. Like I say, try to have a game script in mind when you're building a team, whether you're building one team, whether you're building 20, 50 by hand. If you're building by hand, have a game script in mind that you want to follow, that you expect to see. Teams that are winning are typically going to run the ball a little bit more. Teams that are trailing are going to throw the ball a ton typically. There's garbage time involved. There's kickers. There's a lot to consider, a lot of variables. But a lot of times going with the Vegas spread, if you agree with the Vegas spread, that's the first. Like, look at Vegas. Do you agree the Patriots are going to cover the 17 or at least win this game handily? If they do, then do your builds accordingly. That's going to do it for us today, Nation, on take 2 of this. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Those that watched this twice, to watch the first version and the second. Hopefully this one's a little bit more accurate for you, adjusting for the wind. Again, I did the first video just kind of going as if there was no wind, but figured I'd do one addressing the wind since it does appear to be an issue. So we did one where you kind of ignore the wind, ignore the hype, and the one where you are factoring in the wind. We're kind of 1.5 for that one. But anyway, guys, like the video if you can. Really, really appreciate you. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications bell so that you know when these videos are coming out. We are going to run a contest real quick. Let's see who's paying attention out there. Some of you guys might have clicked out a little early. We've been asking for 75 likes. I asked for 50 the first time we got it. Haven't gotten 50 cents. So I'm going to ask for 50. Back to the basics. 50 likes on this video. In the comments, I want you to leave me, once again, the winner of the winner of the Giant Patriot game. And the score. You got to get the winner and the score, and we got to get 50 likes. I'm going to pick whoever wins this contest. It could be multiple people. If a couple of you win it, that's fine. Great. We'll give a 1-month all sports access pass. And we are doing NBA preseason articles. So I've been doing the NBA preseason articles over at Wise Tech. Yesterday, we kind of smashed as a nation. I think we had a really good preseason. We got hockey popping off on one of our newest writers, Huey. Almost took down the donkey last night in hockey. We got a lot going on. We're a lot of momentum. So you get all sports access and Slack chat. All content, Slack chat for all sports, and you'll get it for free, and you'll get a Wise Take t-shirt. So, again, like the video. We need 50 likes, and I know you guys can do it. Some of you guys like every video, and I appreciate every one of you. I really do. It goes a long way. YouTube needs to recognize, man. I don't think they recognize the nation. We've been here for a while. We've been doing this for a while. They need to recognize and get their shit together. That's what they need to do. They need to push the nation, because the nation has been here and the nation will be here. It's just what we do. So once again, guys, appreciate you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And for myself, the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, good luck.